All right, so this is a video tutorial that I am making for students of commercial photography. I'm showing you guys how to create a contact sheet in Photoshop. On the Google Classroom, there should be a guide that goes along with this. So if you guys wanted to follow along with the numbered bullets on how I'm going through all of these things, you totally can. If you want to do this in steps along with the video like I would in class, so like pausing it occasionally to keep up with all the tasks, that's fine too. Do whatever works for you guys to get this to work out. So first of all, we need to create a folder where you guys want to put your files. It's really important as a photographer when you're shooting hundreds of photos that you organize yourself and label things. So we're going to go down to the taskbar and we are going to open Finder. And it's going to probably come up on like all my files, the hard drive, possibly documents. What you actually want to go to is you want to find the house icon next to your name. That's like your personal folder. It's your user folder on the computer. We're going to save our file into documents actually. So if you select documents, it should open up another window. If it's not looking like these columns of files here, you might end up having it look like that for some reason. You can change the view options here. So I suggest doing it in the column view, whatever works best for you guys once you're comfortable with the entire setup. So in documents, you want to go to the little settings button and you're going to select a new folder. Okay, and we're going to call this folder Old Town because it makes life easy that way. If you want to put a date on it, that's up to you. So now we've got our folder. We actually know where we're going to put all of our files. What you guys need to do now is you need to get your SD cards out. Put them into the SD card reader. Don't jam them in there. There is one particular way it fits. Kind of pay attention to where the little brass or gold threads are on the card and where they insert into the card reader. And then place the USB port into the back of your screen so that the computer starts reading it as like a USB card. So it should pop up on your devices area over here. I've already plugged mine in and it pops up as a Nikon D70, which is nonsense. It might actually show up as DCIM. It might read as a number of different things on there. So, but it will show up as like an external disk. Go in there, probably a DCIM folder that then has a bunch of different cameras reading on it. The 109 ND200 is what I used. It was a Nikon D200. So you guys mostly use Nikon D7200s or Nikon D7000s. A couple of you might have had the D80s. Whatever the card says for your camera, find the files. Now I've already gone about relabeling some of my files because it's a long process and you guys probably will want to pause the video and take a few minutes to go through and relabel things. But most of your files are going to come up with a very generic labeling system here. It's like DSC and then a number of some kind. It does give you all the information on when it was taken, what time, all that fun stuff. There's also more information encrypted in the files that I can read through Photoshop and the bridge. But for now, just looking at the file name, those are things that you want to like change once we get them copied into our new folder. So what we're going to do is we're just going to Control A, select everything in the folder because all of these photos should be from Old Town. If you only need to select like a certain number of them, you can select the first one that starts in Old Town and then hit Shift and select like a smaller number of them. But most of them should be for Old Town. So you're going to highlight them basically, and we're going to grab them, and you need to click, but don't hold for too long without moving. Click, move, and drag them over to Documents. Documents is going to open up, and we're going to see Old Town there, and we're going to be able to just drop them into Old Town. Now this takes a little bit of time because I have hundreds of photos that are copying at the moment. So I'm going to go over some other information while it sits there. What you're going to do is once you get them into your folder of Old Town, you need to actually go through the files and rename them, okay? Remember we had the shutter priority assignments that were freeze, pan, and blur. And then we had the aperture priority assignment that was depth of field, where you should have taken the same picture 3 times at 3 different apertures, okay? So what you have to do is you have to go through and relabel your files so that they go along with these assignments. When we put them into a contact sheet in Photoshop, I'm actually going to be able to read those different labels. So yes, you have to do it. Each topic, obviously you can't name 2 files freeze in the same folder, so you have to start numbering them. You can start with 1 or you can start with 2. You start with like freeze and then the next one's freeze 2. That's what I did. Depth of field, or you can shorten it to DOF, pan, blur, etc., etc. Now I am giving you guys the option, it doesn't say it in the form here, but if you want to submit like 4 or 5 pictures that don't necessarily go with one of those assignments and you just want to label it as IDK, that's totally fine. All right. You can have up to 5 IDK files. Please let the rest be associated with the different assignments. How are we doing on our copy in here thing? Oh, we're done. Yay. All right. So as you can see, I've already labeled all of my stuff and I've already counted out my 24 pictures. You need 24 files to go into your contact sheet. All right. So as you're going through the files and you're relabeling, if you aren't sure what it is and you need to like see it bigger, you can hit the space bar and it will make it blow up to a little bit of a bigger size. So once you get them all labeled, what we're going to do is we're actually going to bring them into the bridge, all right? So, oh wait, sorry, I skipped a step. I forgot about this. We're going to actually separate the files that you're going to include into your contact sheet so that we don't get too confused. So I've got these files here that I'm actually going to highlight and put into my contact sheet folder. This is number 6 on the directions. I've got these highlighted. If I go back to that gear icon, I can actually just make a folder with those files specifically. So a new folder with selection. And I can relabel my folder as contact sheet. Now I still have more pictures to put in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the first one and I'm going to highlight all of them. So I hit shift and then I click on the last one. And then again, I can drag those into that folder. So now the contents of this folder should be 24 pictures that I'm going to use for my contact sheet. Now we're going to open the bridge. That's going to be very exciting. So you have to do the command spacebar thing. Brings up Spotlight Search. You're going to be looking for Adobe Bridge. So if you type in bridge, it should show up this icon that's yellow, brownish, and it's BR. Okay. So now what we got to do is we're in here and we got to find our folder. On the left-hand side, there's going to be favorites or folders. You can find your stuff in either one, obviously, because your name should show up as a favorite. Or you can just go to the drop downs for the folders. Okay, find the little house under users. We're in documents, and there's my Old Town file. Now, obviously, these aren't the pictures that I selected. These are the ones I want for my contact sheet. So you got to click into your contact sheet folder. All right, so it should have all of my pictures. It's kind of going through and sorting them, making sure they're all there. What you're going to do now is you're actually going to go to Tools, Photoshop, and Contact Sheet 2, all right? And this is going to take all of the images from that folder and put them into a contact sheet. Give it a second to think about what it's doing. All right, so this is what pops up when you do that. You need to make sure that all of your information matches what I've got here. So obviously we've got Bridge. It's sourcing 24 files from our folder there. We've got an 8x10, which is the size that we're printing towards. Resolution is 300, RGB color, 8-bit. Don't worry about those things. Flatten all layers is important. Make sure that's checked. Across first, so it's going to go read like you do a book. We're going to have 4 columns and 6 rows. We want to rotate for best fit so those vertical images actually come in horizontal and everything fits more neatly. The one thing that you can change is the font. Like if you feel like you want to have something different and there's a specific font that you always put everything in, please don't let it be Papyrus. You may select that. Okay, make sure that stays 12 point because we don't need your font to be bigger than your pictures. And then hit OK. So Photoshop is going to pull all of your files and automatically place them onto a contact sheet for you. It's the handiest thing ever for producing thumbnails. It takes a couple of minutes, and on the computers at the school, they might run a little slower than mine does. So you just have to be patient, sit and chat to your neighbor, help somebody out if they need help. Let's see what else we got on this next task. So we've gone through 7, 8, 9. I think oh no, 10, 11. Excellent. We're making great progress here. And so once it's all populated, all you got to do is just save it. So you have to go to File, Save As. We will be saving it as Contact Sheet Old Town. There it is. See, isn't it pretty? We zoom in, you can see my font looks real great. So we're going to go to File, Save As. Now it already automatically says photo contact sheet, but we want to actually label this as Contact Sheet Old Town. We're going to save it into Documents. It doesn't give us an option to save it directly into the folder that we created. So just save it into Documents. You can move it manually once you saved it. Change the format to a JPEG. Don't worry about the little exclamation point. It's fine. It can save it as a copy. And then we're going to just say save. Make sure your quality is 12 because we want to optimize. And then hit OK. So if we go back into Finder now, and I go just back to Documents, my contact sheet's there. But I need to move it into my Old Town folder. So once you have your contact sheet, all you got to do is go into Google Classroom and upload it to the assignment file that's there. And you're done. So very exciting. If you have any questions or concerns, don't be afraid to ask myself or a neighbor. And I hope that all of that made sense.